Hi guys, it's Brooke. So I was inspired to do another video, and in particular, I was inspired by my gal pal, Overprotected. I was able to catch her on Shane's show on Unbiased and on the Fence, and her daughter did a video with him discussing how Michael Jackson has been a concurrent theme for her and her family during their awakening and rise in consciousness. And when I came across the video, I was just in shock because my mom and I both had a similar episode. Michael Jackson was a significant part. Michael Jackson and his death was a significant part of my mom's awakening. Michael Jackson and his life was a significant part of my awakening. And so, anyways, this is how I feel about Michael Jackson. I do feel like he was a very special soul that was incarnate in this lifetime. I think that's reflected. I think the level of his consciousness is reflected in his work and in his craft. He's multi-talented, multifaceted, a triple threat. He dances, sings, he's very intelligent. Has a sensitive nature about him. He's always been soft-spoken. I've always gotten good vibrations, anytime I've seen him do an interview or speak or on stage, or I've always loved his music. I've always loved his lyrics. I've always seen the depth and the meaning in his words. I wasn't obsessed with Michael Jackson, but I observed that he was a huge impact on this world, not just our country. He was a very significant figure for many people, and an idol, so to speak. There's too many coincidences in the artwork of the album covers of not only Michael Jackson, but back when he was in Jackson 5 even. Different symbolism. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. It can be looked up. But I do know, during my mom's experience in particular, it hit her very hard, and she was not a big fan of Michael Jackson either. She was a little older. He was more in my timeline versus hers, but the death really, but she wasn't her normal self at this point either, but it really impacted her. She was crying for days on end. We watched the funeral on TV. She kept making references to the choices in colors. She felt Michael Jackson was way more important than we thought, etc., etc. And she would go around the house singing songs and things. And then, after that all dissipated with her and her experience, and I had mine a year later, it hit me significantly that he was very special. I felt some kind of connection, and I was analyzing his because I went through my awakening, and at some point I was trying to think of somebody that could represent, someone that's the most Christ-like that I've known in my lifetime or in this experience so far, and Michael Jackson just kept coming to mind. He loves animals, he loves children, and we'll get to that in a minute. He's just the way he conducts himself when he does do public speaking. He's respectful, he's kind, he's generous, he's again, he's so talented. They don't call him the king of pop for nothing. Like, he worked his way to stardom, and he stayed there, but it started in childhood, and I think that was a big part of it. Like, I can really relate to him on a lot of levels. My soul can relate to Michael Jackson's soul in every facet that I can think of. I mean, even the eclectic part. Like, I think a big part of it is that he was a big overgrown child. You know, he didn't get to experience his childhood, so he made a conscious effort to compensate for that in adulthood and purchase these luxuries, have big toys and games, and Neverland Ranch, and I think he was a broken child, and I think he felt for other broken children and just wanted to take them all under his wing. I mean, I'm no Michael Jackson, and I am a female, but that's what's in my heart, you know. That's how I feel about children and humanity and myself, you know, and my childhood, you know. I kept my inner child alive and thriving as much as possible because that's what makes me happy. But I feel like Michael Jackson might have, I really feel like his third eye had to have been way wide open. And I feel like he might have had some insight into who he is or was in past lifetimes or on the other side. In this picture right here, specifically, I had mentioned in a prior video of mine, when I look in the mirror on LSD, all I can see is my eyes with like this gold light pattern all around. And this album cover in particular always reminded me of that. It's the only time I'd ever seen like that kind of image elsewhere. But the symbolism is unreal and outrageous. It can't be coincidence. And this one, there's like a UFO in the back right hand corner at the top. It's like a godlike figure, or like the black and the white angels holding the crown. Like, other than the child molestation accusations in the media and maybe corporations coming after him because he was outing them and rebelling against them, what if he didn't? You know, what if Michael Jackson was a saint? What if he just wanted to save the world one child at a time, you know? And like, I believe in him. I just always struggled with that, you know. All these people always making these jokes, you know, wacko jacko or whatever, and automatically assuming or concluding that he is a weirdo or a molester or pervert, versus the notion that maybe he is a very special, significant soul. Maybe most people can't relate because they don't feel like Michael did. But I can relate because I feel like I can feel that. And from my observation, you know, I wasn't in that bedroom. I don't know what went down and what didn't. All I know is my own observations and, you know, vibratory pulses or whatever. And he's always tried to unite different cultures and balance. He you know, he really had his masculine and feminine balanced. I mean, look at his face. Like, I think he struggled with that a lot too. Just like we're all struggling with this enlightenment and feeling like we're different than anybody else and feeling like we can't be who we really want to be because we're going to be judged. And I feel like that's how Michael felt like. But he was a leader. He wasn't afraid to be who he was. He wasn't afraid to wear what he wanted to wear. He was more like a Peter Pan, wanted to be young forever, and wanted the best of everything in this life. And I'm sure he sacrificed a lot in order to have that. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I mean, it just has been really significant, and I didn't want Overprotected to feel like she was singled out in this, because, I mean, I just don't. Man, I would love to live at that place. Like, if I had all the money that Michael did, I would have done the same exact thing. Like, totally, literally, would have, like, in a heartbeat. He loves the flowers. He loves nature. Like, he's just was such a gentle, understanding soul who cared about the earth and everything on it. You know, I would have a game room in my house. He was just one of the most judged people ever. And look, there's Pinocchio again. Like, I want to be a real boy. I can decode Michael Jackson. You know. There's E.T. in that picture. I mean, I get him. I get him. I think, if anything, he wanted a world that was... Oh, look at that artwork, though. It's crazy. There's like a big green emerald gem or crystal in the right corner. Like, he definitely knew something. And he's always, like, dressed like a king or a prince, or like royalty. Like, he knew he came from somewhere important. But that's badass. Like, I mean, he was helping kids get their start in the business, trying to look out for them. I really don't feel like he was a pervert at all. I have a real affinity for kids. I'm not a pervert. I would never even think about that, crossing the line like that. But I would invite a child into my bed, like, to sleep. I don't know. Is that weird? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think it is. I don't know. I mean, I guess it was stupid on his part. Like, he should have known better, in a way. I don't know. I try not to make any judgments. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know. I do know that he had a million reasons for people to go after him or sue him or try to get their hands on it. So, but I don't know. He always seemed magical to me. One of the few that represented peace and defied gravity almost. Like, I'll never forget these moves and the moonwalk, and blew my mind. Like, Michael blew everybody's mind. And then it's like everybody just turned on him all of a sudden. I'm sure he was a lonely soul. And he felt just like many of us do right now. But he always represented equality, changing the world, and so much more than being, I just feel like it's sad. His legacy for most is being a pervert, and no other qualities count anymore. Like I don't know, but just his lyrics are just they speak to my heart, and I can't deny that. I mean, no matter what, I still think he was very special, and that vessel of his may have possessed a very significant soul, That's just how I feel on a soul level, and it's something I can't deny because he did play such a significant role in our awakening for some reason. And now that I find out that that's true for other people, like, it's crazy. Like, there's gotta be something to it. And now I'm motivated to dig deeper and see if there's other people even that, feel the same way, or I mean, I really can't think of anybody who has had such an impact for such a long time on this world in so many positive ways in my lifetime. Like, if you took away the charges, he would be the most, I just swear, he's the most Christ-like, Jesus-like figure I've known or been exposed to. And I think it's sad what's happened to him and his legend or legacy. Like, it's crazy times we're living in. Crazy times. And he saw that. He knew it. And he was warning us, preparing us, telling us. And all of these songs, all of his album art, like, I don't think it's Freemasonry. I think it's consciousness. I don't give this occult or dark cabal that much credit or whatever, like, I think people are giving them too much credit. I think a lot of the symbology, a lot of this shit comes through ourselves consciously, but unconsciously. Maybe we are not even aware of it at the time. I don't know. I don't know if it was strategic by Michael Jackson or not. But I don't think it was by his handlers or, like, the production team, or, like, I guess everybody plays a part, but I don't think it's intentional. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I don't think it's entirely, like, intentional. I think it's, like, subconsciously this shit comes through. We are all muses. I don't just limit it to Michael Jackson. There's several, like, artists, You know, not celebrities, not famous people, artists. Artists are muses. Like, artists of all caliber are a special breed. And I do believe that God, you know, God or the universe or whatever communicates through these people. And I just feel like Michael Jackson was a big interpreter, you could say. Like, huge. And he knew exactly what he was doing. But I didn't want to insinuate too much or get anyone too riled up or, you know, try to limit the negative comments I get and feedback to this video. But I told you I'm only going to be honest with you guys, and I'd be lying if I said Michael Jackson did not play a huge role in the awakening of both me and my mom. And the clues are indisputable. I feel like I've provided more than enough here in this video. And use your own discernment. But yeah, I don't rule anything out. I trust my own intuitions and epiphanies.